Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Smallville. We've chatted a little bit about Smallville in recent weeks based on some recent comments by Lex Luthor himself, Michael Rosenbaum, but we're going to be talking about Tom Welling because he confirmed something a while ago that we need to break down. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Guys, first things first, please go over to my Discord. It's the link in the description below. It's the top link. We're doing a big giveaway to my top supporters on the channel, so go follow the link to get the details. But one more thing before we start this video, I want to warn you guys there's going to be a big change coming to my channel. I'm actually going to be changing the name of my channel very soon. I'm going to make a video explaining why I'm going to be doing that in the next couple of days. Basically, it's just to expand the channel. But don't worry for now, everything's staying the same. I just wanted to quickly announce it in a couple of videos leading up to like a big explainer video that you guys can properly understand where I'm coming from. But let's go on to talk about our first topic today. This was actually reported a while ago by comicbookmovie.com. It was in a lot of places. I didn't actually talk about it at the time because quite frankly I missed it and I thought it was a bit too late. But considering all the recent Smallville news, I wanted to talk about this for the last week or so, but there's just been lots of other topics, lots of different pieces of news that I had to talk about before I got to this. But now, today we're getting to this. So Smallville star Tom Welling confirms he will be willing to return as Superman for a follow-up. Now we're going to break this down, talk about this in the context of what has been said recently with Michael Rosenbaum wanting to do an animated sequel to Smallville eventually. That's his main plan. Plus we've heard of, potential movie sequels and stuff like that, but the animated one is the top priority right now that could actually happen. So Smallville star Tom Welling has shared his thoughts on potentially returning as Clark Kent / Superman in a movie follow-up to the hit series, but admits the show's creatives have largely snubbed him since, which we're going to get into. So the article goes like this: Smallville ran for a total of 10 seasons, and while the show was arguably at its best during the first 100 episodes or so, there was still a lot of great ideas in the later years. A series that put a very different spin on the Superman mythos. It delighted fans just as much as it frustrated him. Why couldn't he fly again? They put in brackets. But concluded back in 2011. This world has since been revisited as a comic book, though while stars Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum are still thought to be plotting out some sort of an animated follow-up, that's all that they've done for now since Smallville ended. They haven't done like too much. But as you all know, the spirit of Smallville continues with Talkville, the Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling podcast that they do on Michael Rosenbaum's channel called Talkville, and that is a podcast that we're going to chat about today. Welling recently caught up with Rosenbaum for the latter's 300th episode of his Insider View podcast and brought up the prospect of a Smallville movie in that very podcast. And to that, the actor said, I'd be like, yes, let's hear it. I don't know how it would happen, but he would be down to return. So he also went on to confirm that no one involved with Smallville has ever reached out to him about that or any other projects that they've developed. He says, I was thinking about this the other day right before we did our Talkville podcast, Welling stated. We were on one of the most successful shows in the history of television, like Top 50. From that show, I've never got an incoming call from anyone involved in that show for further work. So that means, any Smallville sequels, but also that means any of the people that ran the show, like he's never been involved in any of their other projects. So yeah, that's just, something that happens, I guess, time to time. But, Tom is a pretty big actor, but I don't know why they didn't ask him again. But anyway, he goes on to say, I'm not saying like I don't feel bad about that, I don't harp on anybody about that, he continued, but you would think that when you're successful, you'd then continue to be successful with successful people, but I think the time has changed. And so that is what Tom Welling had to say in regards to what's happened post Smallville. Obviously nothing has gone on in terms of any sequels, and yes, of course they did the comic book follow-up, but that is it. There is no live action, no animated, there's no like movie or TV version follow-up that has happened. But I think the thing we have to break down here is the fact that he says he's open to returning. And we have to understand this in the context of what has been said recently as well. Because with Tom confirming that he'd be open to returning at some point in the future, that obviously opens the door for him to come back. And with Michael Rosenbaum recently teasing to Andy from Screen Rant that he is definitely open and wants to actually do this animated sequel to Smallville, you would think, okay, Tom's definitely going to be involved. Tom will play his version of Clark, his version of Superman. And it definitely didn't hurt for the confidence of Michael Rosenbaum that Tom Welling, obviously the lead actor on the show, had previously said in the months before that he would be open to returning. So obviously that is like a really good sign, because you would have the main character. Like, that is the most important thing. I would argue it's more important than having the original showrunners return to showrun an animated sequel. I think even Michael and even Tom could be like heavily involved in producing any kind of sequel, because I also think they've played a big part in continuing the hype and continuing a love and appreciation for Smallville. Because even with their podcast Talkville, with Michael's activity online being obviously very, very popular in terms of the podcasting world, like, they have just talked about it so much, and having the two of them paired up on screen talking together as real life people, as actors, I mean, you just want to see that. Like, you just love to see it, and I think fans really engage with that, and I think they've inadvertently helped keep that kind of hype up for Smallville and definitely keep the door open for any future projects. So my point of making this video is just to highlight that Tom Welling is open to returning. Obviously we did see Tom return as his version of Clark / Superman in the future, and obviously we did get him returning in Crisis. That was a big deal, but you know, is that really necessarily canon to Smallville? Not necessarily, in terms of it doesn't like start right after that. Yes, it would have been nice to start right after that, but obviously Tom is significantly older than he was back then when Smallville originally finished. So yeah, it's great that we've seen him return in live action before, and I'm sure he was very happy when the producers behind Crisis on Infinite Earths asked him to return, because really that's his first time that he came back, and it seems he was actually waiting for a while for some sort of callback and some sort of like continuation of Smallville, just because it was such a successful show. But let's move on to the next main topic, and this is to end the stream. So this is from Krypton site. Again, shouts out to Craig who runs the site. He is amazing. He is a watcher of this channel, so I always like to give him a good shout out. So the title of the article we're breaking down here is Smallville's Rosenbaum and Welling plan live Talkville event. So this was posted just earlier this month on the 15th of April. He said, "By now you surely have heard Talkville, the podcast from Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, where they reminisce about their time on the classic WB/CW series Smallville. Some may have even been to Smallville Nights, the event that Tom and Michael hosts at cons. Well, now fans can prepare for another kind of live experience, as the former Clark and Lex actors have a live event planned for May 22nd, May 23rd, obviously next month, in Los Angeles. So this said event on May 22nd and May 23rd, 2024 is going to be held at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood. This Talkville event will have also bonus kickoffs with Smallville Nights for special ticket holders, where Tom and Michael will act out memorable scenes from Smallville with some lucky audience members. If you've been to Smallville Nights at a convention, you already know it's a good time. So May 22nd is apparently already sold out, but you can purchase tickets for the May 23rd event still. And so if any of you guys want to go to that event, I'll leave the link in the description below, and tell them that Krypton site sent you, and also tell them the DCTV show sent you as well. That's going to be a great event. I definitely want to attend one of these Smallville Nights at a convention at some point. So like I said earlier, it's just really good to see them continuing the hype around Smallville, continuing to engage with their fans. They know the value of the show, like people are talking about it still such a long time after Smallville ended. The show originally came out in 2001 and it eventually ended 10 years later in 2011 on the CW. Originally it was on the WB, and so it was a major part of this shift to the CW, and it was a major part of setting up Arrow, setting up the Arrowverse. So I think we're all actually indebted to Smallville. We've always said that, and it was definitely the kind of prototype Arrowverse show for what we were going to get on the CW. But that about does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more Smallville related videos or any other kind of DC related videos, please let me know down in the comments below what would you like to see. But if you enjoyed this specific video, leave a like, leave a comment. It would really help this video get out there. And also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.